A little advice. A little advice. Come on, come on, come on, yeah. Just a little advice. Just a little advice with Christine Little. Check it out.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Little Advice Podcast. This is a podcast where me, comedian Christine Little, gives a little advice to one of my guests. It's only a little advice because I only have a little degree. Also, I read a lot of self-help books, so I'm like, yeah, I'm qualified to do this. This is episode number 8 with Claudia Doumit from NBC's Timeless. She's also been on some episodes of Scandal, and she's just a really awesome person. I met her outside of a show at the Improv recently, and I'm like, hey, you're so cool. You got to do this podcast. And she was like, okay. But she's from Australia, so she said it with an Australian accent. She's like, okay, I can't do it, so don't make fun of me. But she's really great. We talk about her inability to process things. It takes her a while to process major life events that have happened, and it's really interesting. So please rate, subscribe, comment on this. And if you want to chime in with your own advice of what you would say, join the Facebook group, the Little Advice Podcast Facebook group, and you can leave your comments there. You could be like, oh, this is what I would have said, or hey, I think this could help too. So that'd be really fun, and I can read those for the next podcast episode. And also, I have some shows coming up. I always forget to plug my own shows on here. So I have a show on Monday, if you're in the Los Angeles area. But this one's going to be in Inglewood at Three Weavers Brewing Company, and that is at 8 p.m. And then on Wednesday, September 26th, I've got 2 shows. One at Villains Tavern in downtown LA at 8:30, and then one at Sycamore Tavern at 10 p.m. on Wednesday, the same day, the 26th. So if you want to come by, say hi, that'd be great. And with no further ado, here's episode number 8 with actress Claudia Doumit. And thank you for listening to A Little Advice. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, Christine.
I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm so excited to be here.
I just met Claudia the other one,
like 3 days ago?
A few days ago, and we just clicked.
It happened.
Me, you, and Zoe.
It felt very intimate.
It was so fun.
Right away.
Yeah. You guys you're hilarious, and I love your energy.
We're idiots.
And you're just a freaking star. I keep telling her that.
That makes me wildly uncomfortable.
Awesome. I'm on roll. This is it. Then I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, Claudia. Okay. So, what's your problem?
Oh, okay. I came up with it today, and I was very proud of it.
Ooh.
Because I was like, this is enough of a problem, but not so much that
it's like going to expose anything.
Into my soul, and if anyone listens to it.
We'll see about that.
I know.
If anyone's listened to it.
Do you know what I mean?
Was that like a dig?
What if like my grandmother listens? She's
okay.
never going to, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I told my family they can't listen to this.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't process things that affect me until like a long time after they happen. And I'll have like a physical reaction to it, about the memory of it, and it'll stay with me because I haven't dealt with it.
Can you give me an example?
Like, I can give you a couple if you want. No, I just because I was at the beach and I was remembering this and I was retelling a story to someone. It was like when I was 17 or something, and I was at the beach up at the Gold Coast in Australia, where I'm from. Don't know if you have heard that in my voice accent. And it was really rough, and there was like a rip and whatever. But like you get in rips sometimes, and you get taken out, and then you just find you swim to the side. Like
ocean is terrifying.
Yeah, you swim to the side, and then you just like come back in another way. That didn't happen this time. Every time a wave came, I would go under and I'd come back up and I'd be like another 20 meters out.
Oh my God.
And it kept happening and it kept happening. And in the moment I was like, we're cool, this is fine. Like, I can figure this out. And I got out to such a point where I just wasn't coming back up for air properly. And I was probably like drowning a bit.
You were drowning.
Just like a bit.
This is terrifying.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the moment to me. Because I was just like, I have to get back in.
It couldn't have been.
And finally, a beautiful lifesaver came out. Is that what you call them? Lifesavers?
We call them lifeguards.
A lifeguard. Sorry,
That lifesaver makes me like hungry. Yeah,
okay, cool. The lifeguard came out and got me and brought me in, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, okay, let's swim some more. It's fine. And then, like 6 months later, I was at the beach, and I couldn't get in the water. Like I was getting in, and I was just overcome by fear. And
Did you know why?
Having anxiety? No.
Oh.
And then I was like, why is this happening? I was like, I guess I'm just being weird. And I just didn't go too far in. And then it happened the next time. Then it happened the next time. And then after like 6 times that it happened, I was like, oh, I'm terrified of drowning. And I like had an anxiety attack, and I like started crying. That's one example.
Okay.
Another example is when I was 14, I had this crush on a friend's cousin, and we'd see each other and hang out and whatever whenever I'd go to her house and he was there, and we'd whatever. And then, you know, we drifted apart and whatever, and school happened and blah, blah, blah. But I always like really liked him, and I had a crush on him. And then I think 2 years later, my friend told me, she was like, he has cancer. And I was like, oh, that's really sad. I should go see him. I should go visit him. And I remember her telling me this, but it's so weird when you think about something that was said as a teenager, because you're like, did that happen that way? Did we have that conversation? Yeah. I don't know what my teenage brain was doing. But I vividly remember her saying to me, she was like, I don't think he wants to. He doesn't want to see you because he feels like he might like you again if he sees you. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's normal. That's fine. Yeah, I won't see him. And then I didn't see him. And then I found out like a year later that he died.
Oh, man.
And I hadn't told anyone, like what I'm saying right now, I hadn't told anyone this story. And about a year ago, I was in the car with my boyfriend, and, you know, we're just like on a long trip in the car, and like you just start talking about shit. And I brought that up, and it was the first time I was telling this story, and even now I'm like a little quivery about it. And I just started weeping uncontrollably in the car. And yeah, and I realized that deeply affected me. Yeah, and I just tend to do that with a lot of stuff. Wow. It's just like a coping mechanism or a lack thereof.
No, that you're spot on. That's exactly what it is. It's a coping mechanism. It's like when there's so much trauma. Yeah. It's like kind of like a form of denial. Yeah. Because you're not in a place where you can process it at that time. And so it's like your mind's kind of like, let me help you out. We're going to table this for a little bit, and then we'll come back to it when it's inconvenient for you. How does that sound?
It's like I go into hibernation mode. They're like, okay, cool. We need to do this. Preserve all the food and the water.
Exactly.
And I'm like, and we'll come back to it when, you know.
Exactly.
When you're not expecting it.
When you're not expecting it. Maybe in a car, maybe on show.
It's going to be great. Yes.
Well, those are two really, really heavy things. So, like, it would make sense that like it would come up and it manifests in that way. And I think something with like the drowning, it's like you're trying to tell yourself. So what's going on in your head when you're like, I'm okay, it's okay, like during the initial impact?
I'm literally just thinking, like, I'm at point A, I have to get to point B, then to point C, then like that's how my brain works. It's very much like this to this to this to this. So this equals this, and it's very
so with the drowning thing, because the other one seems really hard. With that, what was point A, point B, point C for you?
I was at the point where I like went under the second time or third time, and I was like, oh, I'm a lot of meters out, and I can't swim back in. I was like, I'm gonna swim to the side, because that's what I don't know, in my brain somewhere that's where I got taught, because you swim to the side out of the rip instead of because that's going to make it worse if you keep going back in straight. And so I just kept going to the side, and I kept getting dunked, and and then at some point, I guess my fist was in the air to signal someone.
Do you consciously remember?
No, that's the thing. I don't remember any of that.
Your body had your back.
Yeah. it was literally that. I was like, okay, this didn't work, so I have to do this. That's how my brain
Well, I think
does it, but
to what happens, it's like it obviously initiated the fight or flight response. And so during those times, you can't think properly. Like, even if you're really stressed out in your life, you're not at your optimal thinking level because you're in survival mode. So it would make sense that you wouldn't be thinking clearly during the actual action.
Yeah.
But right after it happened and you were saved and you're like, let's just go back into the water. Was it just, what was...
Well, because in my mind, I was like, don't make a big deal out of it. Nothing happened. That's... Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what my brain said. My brain was like, you're fine. You're fine. You were in the water. Now you're not. You're okay. Let's go swim somewhere else.
Does that happen with other things too?
God, yes.
So a lot of things.
That's how I approach.
You're fine. You're not dead. So keep carrying on. Has that been said to you?
I don't. Not in that way. Not in like
no.
Yeah.
But like, you're okay. A lot of people have it a lot worse.
Yeah, that's honestly my mentality. That's my approach to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I generally just kind of, I give myself that. I'm like, you're fine. You're okay. Nothing bad happened. Stop complaining. Nobody cares. My thing is like, nobody cares. I know you're looking at me, Christine. I hate it.
No. I think to an extent, it is kind of be like, you know what? I'm grateful I'm alive. Everything's okay. So that is nice. But also, it's just like, there's like a lack of compassion there. Like, if I told you, I almost drowned yesterday, like, would you be like, well, you're alive? Like, quit being a drama queen.
Oh my God, Christine, but you didn't. Jeez.
I mean, someone had to save you, but like, at least they were like,
Yeah.
It's just kind of like you're writing yourself off, like you don't matter.
Yeah.
Or that your feelings don't matter.
That one.
Yeah. Okay.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do that a bit. It's also a very like, it's like a survival mode type thing. It's like a self-preservation. It's like a way of just getting by.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to...
Is it?
I have no idea.
Except for when it comes back and...
Well, let me tell you this. Until about a year ago, that was my approach. And in my mind, I was like, oh, this is working great, because you don't remember shit and it's fine. Mm-hmm. And then I started having a lot of anxiety attacks. And then 6 months ago, I started going to therapy for it.
Okay.
Because they were just unexplained. They would just happen at random moments.
That's the thing. Your body does not forget trauma.
Yeah.
It literally stores in your body and parts of your body. So if there's parts of your body that are like more sore than others, or you tend, like for me, it's my left side.
Yeah.
Everything gets stored in there. And supposedly that's like your feminine side or whatever, something like that. I did this like tapping thing. If you want to look into the tapping thing, is it EPT? I forget what it's called. You remember?
It's a type of therapy,
emotional therapy, like something emotional therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
my friend did it after she had like extreme trauma because she was in a train accident thing. Like I know. People around me and myself are just suffering.
And that's why you're like, I'm fine. We made it.
Yes. Yeah, but she did that. And it helped.
It did,
a lot.
God, I can't think of the name of it right now. EFT, I think. I want to call it EFT, but I don't think that's right. But but that's one of the big premises around it, is that like it's stored in your body, your brain remembers it, it's trauma, like so it needs to be processed. So I think it's great that you took the step to actually get therapy to work through it and start realizing what that is and how it's buried down. Because like the things that helped us maybe when we were younger, you can't keep applying to the same things when you're older.
I know, I've learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's hard because I'll always have the jolt, because I'll go into the knee-jerk reaction of like, you're fine, everything's fine, don't worry, you're being just stop complaining. And then I'll have to reassess it. And be like, no, was that
wrong? Something you did in the past? Would you ever reassess it? Okay, so you're making progress.
Yeah.
That's a lot of progress.
Yeah.
It's not happening immediately, but it's
it's happening at least.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I like therapy. It's brutal. I hate her every session when I'm going. Yeah.
What kind of therapy is it?
Is there what? Just regular therapy?
Like, there's a psychoanalytic, cognitive behavioral. That one?
Yeah.
Okay. CBT. All these acronyms.
Nice.
I don't know why I said it like that. Cognitive behavioral
Gotta
therapy.
get me some of that. Yeah, I like it. CBT.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there seems like there's like a little bit of a lack of compassion for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a similar thing that I talked about with Michael. Like, would you say to, I mean, we did this already, but like I almost drowned. And you would just write, say it was your daughter. I know you don't have a daughter, but imagine you have a young daughter that was that age.
I would be very compassionate and maternal and loving and hold her and tell her that she's going to be okay. And even saying it just like gives me hives.
Why? What is that? Is it because it's you or is it because it's your daughter? Or like, what is it that makes you feel uncomfortable?
It's just because I don't have that personality a lot. Like I do have compassion. I am compassionate. But just like vocalizing that, like in a hypothetical situation with you. Like if I was in the situation with a friend and it was just me and my friend or just me and my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is really weird. Then I'd be fine with it. And I have done that with friends before, but like acting it out with you or
you don't have to do that.
Like, but do you know what I mean? Like just like saying what I would say in the situation also just makes me very emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it's foreign. Like I'm trying to get over that, but it's a very foreign feeling. And
can I ask like what the fear behind that could be? Like what is like the worst case scenario? Say you're emotionally vulnerable and you're saying that. Like what does that mean to you, or what do you think that would mean?
I mean, there's just a lot of it is laced with like the fear of revealing something about myself or myself, and then what if what I reveal isn't liked? What if I reveal is rejected? What if I reveal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if I get hurt? Which is,
Yeah, that's what vulnerability is. It's like you're putting yourself out there and you could get hurt.
Yeah.
So a good thing to cope with that. I mean, I have the same issue. Like, I have all these issues that everyone talks about. So I don't know.
This is like your therapy.
Yeah, so I'm like, who am I to tell people any of this stuff? But I think something that could be good for that is like having a coping strategy for when we're gonna get hurt. We're gonna get, you know what I mean? But it's like about what we make it mean for ourselves.
I think that's the thing too. I put a lot of weight on it, and that's what I'm realizing, that my fear of what the outcome is. Like I don't know. I don't know what I think the outcome's gonna be, but I in my mind I build it up to be something so drastic and so monumental and so embarrassing, when in reality it isn't.
Well, let's play out one of those scenarios. You're an actress.
Come on,
act for me. She closed up.
I left the room. I'm not here.
She crossed her legs and put her hands in her pocket. Yeah. So say you. Is there a common one that you face that's like a kind of like a recurring one where you feel like you're having trouble putting yourself out there emotionally?
I didn't want this to be emotional. I was like, this is a safe topic, Claudia. You're fine. And then it just like spiraled. I mean, the two big ones, guys. Crying and physical touch is very, like, I don't let anyone really.
See you cry,
No.
and you don't want them to touch you.
No, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
I don't know. My thought with that is, if you don't want someone to touch you, they shouldn't touch you.
They shouldn't be touching you.
Yeah.
No, but even in like a, in a loving, compassionate way, like a way that like they care about you. And
what goes through your mind if someone touches you, or like what does that mean to you? Sorry, I just keep breaking it down into more and more
stop
questions.
staring at me, Kristoffer.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
The anxiety. They can see me. That's my thought. I'm like, they can see me. Oh, they can see me. This is too much. They can see me. They need to stop looking at me. And I'm saying this and I'm looking at her. I'm like, she sees me. She needs to stop seeing her. She's not.
Oh, okay. Now I'm just trying to think about what that's like.
That's the thought. That's the only thought. It's just like they can see me and I don't want them to see me. And so then I just pull back.
Because it doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
So something happened to where you weren't safe. And then you use this mechanism to protect yourself. And it worked, but now it's hindering you from being connected to people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it worked for a solid 20-something years, so it was kind of okay.
It sounds like it did.
Yeah.
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 That's tough. Mm-hmm. I mean, I only have a BA in psychology. I don't know if I'm qualified to deal with this, but it definitely sounds like there's like some trauma, and so
I know. I remember multiple times that I've tried to get a massage. Do you say massage here? Massage?
Yeah, we do say massage.
Okay, cool.
I love how you look at Kyle every time.
I don't. I'm always.
Does he just look very American?
I don't know why.
He does look very American.
He looks very. I just trust. I don't know.
Doesn't look
Kyle,
at me.
You look very trustworthy. Christine does too, but in my mind, I'm like, she's interviewing, so Kyle has time to spare. A massage. Whenever I've gone in for one of those, and then they're touching me, and I remember multiple times. Whoever has been I feel like I'm saying massage a lot. Whoever's been massaging me has been like, you have tension here, and you need to release it, and you need to be comfortable with touch here, and blah 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 blah. And then they recommend me a type of massage therapy that's I forget what it's called. It's got a weird ETB,
LA shit.
It's like some weird friggin'
A, B, C,
thing.
D,
Yep.
E, F, G.
Yep, that's like the body has trauma and it needs to be released, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recommend the tapping thing too.
It's just like
it's so weird. I don't even know.
I'm gonna look it up. I'll look.
Yeah, it's like I did it. It's like you tapped here and then here,
and if you
both
feel
fingers
something?
here. Yeah, and then like you say certain things, like what you're feeling, and like so even if just like the tapping is supposed to help and like lower the sense of trauma in there.
Okay, cool.
But I think those feelings do have to be dealt with. And I think a fun exercise to deal with it. I mean, I'm not qualified for all this trauma shit, but I think a fun exercise. A good book. Really great book. I read a lot of self-help books. That's like the premise of this whole podcast.
I love it.
Sean Connery, everybody. And this book I think has helped me more than any other book for some reason. And it's just called like Self-Compassion. I don't remember who wrote it or whatever, but fun fact, you can get on the library app on your phone.
Yeah.
And just log in and you can just read it from your phone.
It's so funny when you said self-compassion, my heart just went like, ugh. I was like, trigger words.
Wait.
Words.
Tell me about that. What was it? What did that feel like?
It felt like sad. Like I was sad for me. That's all. I know. I feel so sad for me.
No, it's okay.
But yeah,
see, like that. It sounds like a little cheesy, but the self-compassion. I don't want to trigger you again. The SC.
The SC. We're just abbreviating everything. I love it.
The SC. It really.
Nobody will understand this book. This one. The
one thing that I do from reading that book, it's so weird. Like I can feel my anxiety coming up. I have anxiety issues too. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I say it's okay. It's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. And it just makes me feel better for some reason. And the fun thing I was saying that you could do is like talk to child version of you.
I know.
As if it were your daughter and show this girl compassion in your mind in that thing that comes up. So when you're feeling that weird, like, oh, I'm fine, whatever, you could just imagine it being the little girl and
who's having the freak out.
Yeah. And like, how would you talk to her? You know, you'd be really sweet to her and really compassionate. Probably. And no one would have to see it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But only because she's like my blood. So I have to. Yeah. But yes.
So I highly recommend that book. And then the whatever.
For a second I was like, what's it called? And then I just definitely remembered what it was called, because you don't need to say it.
Yeah, you don't. I don't need to say it, but you know what it is.
I got it.
And that really does help. And I think it is really telling that when I said that phrase, your heart just was like, it's like hurting. There's like a lot of sadness in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things that haven't been really fully processed. But you know what? You're in therapy. And you know that it's happening now, whereas before you're like, I don't understand why I can't get in the ocean, even though I drowned, you know? So
probably better just go back in and figure it out.
Yeah. So that's pretty huge.
Yeah. I was very happy when I started going. It was it was a monumental shift.
Just to even go?
To even go, because I'm becoming much more aware of things.
Yeah.
That I just, before I was like, well, this has no reason, and it never will.
And you're giving yourself the message that you're worth taking care of.
Yeah.
Right? Like that you're worth spending the time, the money, the energy to give that to yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of us do that either. So that's huge. A lot of people still have such taboos around going to therapy. I don't get it. Therapy is awesome.
That's honestly why for the longest time I didn't go.
Why?
I was like, you don't need it. Therapy's stupid. For me, I was like, therapy's for a weak person.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right? I know, yeah, that reaction, yeah.
You know, it's funny. One of my girlfriends described, she's like, therapy's great. Just a big me fest the entire time. And I thought it was hilarious because it's like, it's true. This person you think how often does anyone just sit and really listen to you and really
and
take
give you
in
the advice?
Yeah, exactly. How often is anyone just present while you're talking and giving you that undivided attention and time?
Yeah.
So no one's doing that, and then you were like, no one does it for me. I'm not going to do it for myself. You know, it just sends this message like I'm not worth listening to or whatever.
Yeah.
So me fest, therapy. MF.
I love it.
Have you done Me Fest therapy?
Me Fest therapy.
All right. Where are we on time?
25.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. All right, Claudia.
Tell me.
I don't know if I helped you at all. This has been such a short time.
You did.
But tell me what are your takeaways from this? Like what, if anything, stood out?
A lot of it is just like, I don't want to say the words.
You can use abbreviations.
The SC?
Self-compassion.
That's it, yeah. The S. I was like, what? I was like, I don't know how. I was like, I don't know how it works. How do words work?
She covered her eyes.
I'm really glad no one's seeing this because I'm just physically dying. No, but that is a huge thing, and I like just a lot of the time, 90% of the time, reject that, and so allowing myself to be okay in that is. I need to be told that because I don't tell myself that.
You need permission.
I need permission to be able to feel that. To like be like, it's okay, you can feel this. It's
so baby steps for you is like when that comes up, it's okay, you can feel this, you're allowed. And the daughter thing or the child version of you, whatever hits you,
whatever it is,
you know, give her a name. Her name's Samantha, probably.
I actually do have a name. I actually do.
No, Erica's
Erica.
That's evil. Erica's evil. Samantha, she sounds like she's from Sex and the City. She's like your supporter.
She's sexually free. She's going crazy.
She's like, look, and
she loves that.
She's fun.
She lives in the meatpacking district. Like that's
maybe she should be someone more nurturing. Like a Charlotte or something. I don't know.
She gets her tits out. Charlotte. No, not Charlotte. It's what is it? Samantha.
We're showing our age.
Sorry.
Probably the younger people are like, "What's that?"
I am a youth. Yes.
So baby steps.
Baby steps.
Name of that person you take care of, which is really secretly yourself, and then telling yourself you're okay when it comes.
When it happens. Yeah.
And just being cool that if you don't catch it, then that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like don't be, because so many times like something bad happens or something we perceive bad, we feel bad about something, and then you're like, fuck, I've been doing so much self-work. I shouldn't be feeling like this.
Yeah, and you feel like you're regressing back to whatever.
And then you're getting mad about getting mad, you know, and that just intensifies it. So don't do that. Okay. Well, that's it for the therapy portion.
Thank God.
Tell me how you really feel. Jeez Louise. I didn't tell you had to come in here with all this trauma.
I'm good. I very much appreciate it.
Like, I got to get my nails done more. But it'd probably still lead back to self-compassion. Self-care.
Oh, God. Okay. So much.
We will return in several seconds with Little Advice. And we are back. So back. And Claudia is ready to deliver the fun this portion of the episode. So strap on your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Did I just get a new co-host? Is that what just
I just half repeat what you say.
Yeah.
Did she just get a new co-host?
Silly. So now I'm gonna every time I talk about her credits, she disparages them because of the whole self-compassion thing. But I'm gonna talk about them anyway. She's on NBC's Timeless. Mm-hmm. She's biting her tongue so hard right now.
No, I'm trying to allow it. I'm taking the advice that you just gave me. Yep.
NBC's Timeless. She's part of a theater company, Ammo Theater Company, and she's going to be on a really big video game that we can't tell you what it is, but it's big. So I'm really excited to hear more about this. So I want to talk about your story with booking Timeless. You were, according to Zoe, because you didn't want to tell me this.
Love Zoe. Gotta love Zoe.
Zoe's great. It was between two shows, right? 2 pilots.
Yes. I was testing for that and MacGyver. The new MacGyver reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was this your first time?
Yes. Testing and going in and having options. Yeah, it was a very surreal, bloody process. Yeah, and then really, I went in for the Timeless one. I had 4 auditions that day, and
whoa,
it was pilot season, people. It was pilot season.
That's awesome.
It was super busy. And when I read something, immediately, if I click with, you know what I mean. You have a feeling about something, you love it, you click with it, you click with the character. It makes it 100 times easier to go in there with it. And that was Timeless. That was the character for Timeless. Yeah. That was Gia that I went in for.
What's her character like? Sorry, I haven't seen the show. I'm a terrible host. I'm gonna look it up. Say I won't.
She's like the techie on the show, the one behind the computer who helps them with the time traveling.
Ooh,
she's like the other end. Mm-hmm. When she brings the lifeboat back in from the missions. She's a very strong character. She's all about her work. She separates professional from private. Mm-hmm. She definitely has her own stuff, but she's not. This feels like me. This is me. But she doesn't bring it in. But it definitely seeps throughout the season and throughout whatever. But she's just one of those characters who are very strong but caring at the same time.
Aww.
Yeah. And I loved that about her. That she could comfortably kind of be both. And that was
connected to that.
Cool. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're like that, or
I feel like I'm a little more harsh. I feel like I'm a little more and strong isn't even the word. It's just my approach is more harsh.
Okay. I don't know you well enough to negate that.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't. Now who has the power? Sorry, I'm such a dick. I just loved it. And the writing. The material was fucking great. I love anything sci-fi. Cool. So I just jizzed in my pants about it. So.
I love the time travel stuff. It's so
I love it so much. I could get caught up in it. Yeah.
So before booking this, that's a great question. That leads into one of my questions. Before booking this and MacGyver, because you had 2 options. That's freaking, you go from Not
Nothing.
Were you regularly audition? That's a hard word.
Regularly
auditioning every pilot season. Tons of.
I had done the one before. Mm-hmm. And I remember like a couple of years before that, I went in for like a reoccurring role on a show, and I got it on an MTV show.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah, it was for this show, Faking It, and I got it, and we shot the pilot. Mm-hmm. And then,
I know that show.
Yeah, it's about the two girls in high school who are best friends,
they're
and then
faking
they're faking it. Yeah, they're pretending that they're in a relationship. Yeah, and I played like the snarky, cool, whatever girl at the school. Yeah, and then I booked the reoccurring role, and we shot the pilot. And then after the pilot, I got the call where they were like, "So we don't need you anymore." They were like, "We don't need this character. Like, it's not." Well written into the show. We don't need the character. And I was like, oh my God, rejection it was my first job. It was like the first thing I booked. And so for 2 years after that, every room I went in, I was like, they know.
Oh my God.
I was like, they know that you got kicked off a show.
They're like looking at your resume. They're like, great read, but we know that your character was cut from Faking It. Don't bring that fake shit in here. Get out. Sorry, we called you in.
Literally, that was my crazy brain. I was like, they know. Everybody knows. Everyone in the casting office knows. This actress next to me knows.
Like, do you smell something?
It smells failure.
Got to work on that one. Okay, so that happened.
And then I was like fucked for like 2 years because I was in my head.
2 years, you were in your head. What got you out of your head? Like, what was your mind? This is the big question. What was your mindset shift before booking these 2 pilots? And what a redemption story, I have to say.
No, right?
It's amazing.
When you put it like that, yeah. I just slowly. I slowly got to a point where I was like, stop caring so much about 5 minutes in a room. I was like, stop putting so much fucking pressure on yourself. You're driving me crazy. Like literally, I was like, this isn't working for me. I was
so
like,
you hit like your rock bottom, basically.
Yeah, I was like, you're not doing anything with this. Why the fuck are you here? What? But in a loving way, guys. No, but I was like, what do you, like, you moved from Australia to this completely new country. You started a new life.
When
like,
did you move here?
When I was 19.
Okay, so like 2 years ago.
So 7 years ago.
Okay.
7 years ago. And it just felt like I was slapping myself in the face.
And then you just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, and so I just started going in and I was like, we're just going to see what happens. I was like, bit by bit, I was like, wait, I'm going to give you this. You're fine. You're fine. You know what? If you go in there and you suck, you go in there and you suck. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So you started kind of naturally giving yourself a little
I needed to.
Leeway and compassion on that end, huh?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's the first part where I started like implementing it. That's the only like part of my life where I started implementing it.
It's
really.
a start. It's a great start.
It's a great start. And then, yeah.
So when you went into audition for, you can talk about either one of those. I mean, let's talk about Timeless since that's the one you went with.
I will tell you something that did happen to me the day before I went in for Timeless.
Please.
It was, I was reading the lines with my boyfriend at the time. And
Eric.
Eric.
Just kidding. It's a callback from episodes that I don't know if anyone has listened to, but I
get it. I get it. I was on the couch listening to that, so yeah. And he stopped me halfway through and he was like, babe, why aren't you using your voice? Like your voice. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I'm doing the American accent. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you go up like 4 friggin' levels, like you go up like 4 pitches. Like it's not, you don't sound like you.
You're not in your body.
Yeah, he was like, you're not being you when you're using this American accent. You're being some other weird person.
Is he Australian too, or is he American?
He's American. I can do it with the American accent. He was like, babe, you're not doing this right. And you're like, no, I can't do it. I can't switch that easy. I can't switch that easy. And then I got upset and I was like, well, what do you mean? Yes, I am. And I got defensive.
Of course.
And then I went away and I was like, oh, my voice is here. not up here.
So you literally found your voice.
Yeah.
Were you doing that weird voice in all the other auditions for like the past 2 years?
I think so. And I'm pissed that he didn't tell me until then. Really, it's his fault, not mine.
I can relate to that. It's like you have this idea of how like this character's supposed to sound, and it's not you because you're not good enough. And so you go in.
This is the lighter portion of the podcast, Christine. What are you doing? I said I thought this was the lighter portion.
Oh,
of
it is. No. I'm just saying. I'm talking about me, not you.
Yeah.
You're obviously good enough.
I'm solved. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like doing this like put on voice, and you're like, I'm not being real. You can't be real if you're not even using your real voice. You're not connected to anything.
Yeah.
So that was just like the day before the audition.
Yeah, and then I like learned it again in a normal voice. And
then we're like,
and then the next
feedback was like, that was normal. Thank you.
That was really normal. Booked it. No, and then my boyfriend was like, that's it. That's the character. That's it.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like, thanks.
Did you feel good about it?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I needed someone to tell me because I was just being an idiot and I was in my head.
So your mindset shift was more of a, like, I'm going to be more real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you would, in combination with I'm going to allow myself to be whatever this is for the 5 minutes.
Because all of that stuff that I was doing was fake.
Yeah.
I was faking it. Guys, I was faking it.
It's a callback to his
Get
show.
it? Get it? That was the show. Get it?
So did that happen with MacGyver too?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm going to just use my real voice from now on.
Yes, and it was such an insane switch. And I feel like that doesn't help anybody else outside of myself.
I kind of disagree because I've experienced that before too. It's something you have to kind of consciously think about because you're not emotionally connected.
No.
If you're not when you're doing that, when you're using the fake voice. You don't have anything specific that you're
It's like
relating to.
It's like telephone voice. It's like you're like, hello. Like, that's not my telephone voice, but it's like when you put on or when someone's serving you at a Starbucks, you're like, hi, can I get a
like
hi, I go up.
How are you guys?
Hi, can I get a grande soy latte? Yeah.
Kyle?
Love it.
Great.
So you do agree that people should be killed for that?
Oh, 100%.
Fantastic. Great.
To see if he was listening. This guy, woo, 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 woo.
It's a landline thing.
It is. It really is.
Voicemail voice.
What's my other question? Well, your
Yeah.
creative process as an actor. We were kind of dipping into this a little bit with the whole voice gate thing. So what do you?
Voice gate.
Well, how do you approach a role? Like when you first say you first get sides. Hey, Claudia. Hello.
How do you know how my Asian sound?
Claudia. Hello. You have an audition. Oh, Kyle just texted me.
I'm trying to not break the flow.
What? Oh, you did. Let me see what he said.
Technically, you did because I got roll soon.
Oh, I got it. I thought it said it was like a sushi roll.
Take it in for a landing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm feeling the pressure. Let's hurry this up. Let's do this. My
This
process.
podcast is really real.
Yeah.
If things happen in the room, I want my audience to know about it.
It's palpable. I love it.
I'm not
experiencing
faking it.
Yes.
Okay, this is legit.
I feel like I'm like making that a negative. It was a great show, guys. It was a good show. Like it was they did really well without me. I didn't need to be on that show. Like it was great. They did a really good job. And they're all very talented actors.
So then so Kyle's got to go eat sushi or do whatever.
Yeah. Fucking priorities, man. Okay.
So how do you get so I say
Just bearing my soul, Kyle.
And I have to.
he's like I have self-compassion issues. Kyle's like I gotta go. It's not worth it to stay here. So I'm just
Obviously fit.
yes, guys. In case you have been wondering, that is Kyle Clark who does the recording of this podcast when I'm not using my phone. So you guys know Kyle. Anyway, okay, so and his laugh. All right, we're gonna land the plane here, but yeah. So, but I want to first ask you about this. So, your agent says, Claudia, I have an audition for you, and then she sends you the sides. Like, what is the first thing you do when you get the sides? The script, the words,
all of it, the speak, the
in case people don't know what sides are, because that's not like a
no, that's actually very true.
Yeah,
I don't know. The first thing I do, I read through the scene. I see what the fuck the scene is about and where my character is at mentally. And if there are like multiple scenes, I'm like, oh, this scene they want to see this. This next scene they want to see her do this. This scene they want to see this side of her.
So you recognize that like there's a reason why there's multiple scenes.
Like I do the like logical technical shit first, where I'm like, why are these scenes here? What do they want from me with these scenes? Why have they given? Why is this character communicating this way in this scene? So that's basically what I do first, and then when I learn them, a thing I do is I'll walk around the house or whatever. Like I'll be like doing laundry. I won't be doing laundry. That's such a fucking lie. I'm sorry, guys. I won't be doing laundry because I don't do laundry. I'll
you just buy new clothes.
It just piles up. I'll be doing some around the house task, and I'll have memorized my shit, and I'll just have bursts of the line in a moment when I'm doing a physical activity. So, like, if the line is, boss says he wants to see you in 20. Or something like that. If I'm doing a physical activity, I'll move in a physical way that kind of complements that line. Does that make any fucking sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Sound like a psycho.
Yeah, don't be,
Self-compassion. No, but I'll just do something that will make me feel out what I'm saying. And like what motivates it physically. Because I think a lot of things.
So if you say like the boss wants to see you in 20, you're not going to be like,
the boss wants to see you in 20. And I'm like folding. I'm not folding clothes. Why am I saying that I'm folding clothes?
So you're doing it in a way that you could
Or the way that I'll like put a glass.
I love that.
The way that I'll put the glass away in the cupboard or something, like when I'm doing the dishes, which I'm not doing either.
Well, that's brilliant. I never thought about doing it like that. And then so when you look at your character and the scenes or in the entire project or whatever, how do you determine what their purpose is for being there? Is this just like kind of like a deduction, reading it line by line, or just?
I mean, it depends on the information I'm given. Really, if they give you the whole script, I read the whole script. And then I'm like, oh, this is what this person's feeling at their core. This is their greatest fear. This is their like. I'll go through all that stuff.
A lot of people can't figure that out, like what that is.
That does a lot for me, figuring out like what motivates them, what's at their core, what drives this person.
Do you just make that up, or do you?
I make it up for what would work, what works for me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
it's like a personal.
It's like something that makes sense, of course.
So
to
if
the
you
story.
say the boss wants to see you in 20,
this is the line I've chosen. It's great.
No,
yeah,
it's a good example. So if you say the boss wants to see you in 20, and you determined that this character is like kind of nervous, like that they're scared of the boss or whatever. Yeah. So you would find a situation in your life where you're nervous, or you feel like the same dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same kind of situation. Same kind of because it's. I mean, a lot of it is what works for me is not being Claudia, but then also that's so weird. But then also
being Claudia.
The way I speak and the way is Claudia, because that's
using your instrument for what you are, and then applying a different kind of
just like weaving it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
Thank you. Kyle? Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
Well, this has been amazing. And you've been so open and vulnerable and awesome. I know this is not always easy to talk about stuff, especially if you know other people are going to be listening to it. I hope they listen to it. Shoot. Anyway. I didn't mean for that to be funny. But where can people find you?
Oh, I'm the worst. Instagram, IMDb.
Okay, well, what's your Instagram handle?
IMDb.
Google me?
Was that a terrible thing to say?
No, it's not a terrible thing.
No, Michael's laughing in the background. That was a terrible thing to say.
Hey, it's okay. You're okay. You did nothing wrong.
No one's ever asked me that question before.
What's your Instagram account?
Okay, great.
Her name is Claudia Doumit.
So it's at Claudia Doumit.
Oh, that's perfect. But how do you spell it? Because it's not how I say it.
Claudia or Doumit.
Or both? Oh, there's an A?
No, there isn't. Unless the regular way you spell Claudia. So at Claudia. And then Doumit, Doumit.
Why'd you say it all weird first?
I said the M because it felt like it would sound like an N.
You said Claudia Doumit.
Claudia Doumit.
I thought you said it different the first time. I'm like, what? Whoa, am I saying
maybe
it?
I did. Well, when I hear this. At Claudia Doumit.
Claudia, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Christine.
You're amazing. She's a star. Please look her up. She's so funny. Watch out for that big video game. Actually, just buy every video game and see if she's in it.
There you go.
Okay? And watch
To be
Timeless
safe.
on NBC. Yeah. Okay. So if you guys like this podcast, please rate, subscribe, comment, share it, take a screenshot, share it with your sister or your cousin or whoever you think could benefit from this. Anything else I should say, guys? Have a wonderful day, evening, car drive, whatever. I love you.